never feel the way this hurts.
Welcome to day two's highlights from Henley Royal Regatta, and if yesterday was all rain, 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 today has been crash bang wallop. Let's start in the Thames Cup, a really high pedigree event this year. This is Oslo versus Sydney in what is now becoming the World Club Championships.
So we see the crews squeezing it away. Sydney Rowing Club here on the right of the shot. There's a squeeze to start with, his power now getting put down, and they're pretty much neck and neck with the crew from Oslo to the left.
Yeah, Sydney got up to nearly 52 strokes a minute, being warned here to move over. It's so tough to manage that power into the water, particularly with such a high rating, clearly making the coxswain work really hard. That's in the Sydney boat.
The coach used to ask us to try and be chaining. When you chain, you can look behind you and you see the puddles leaving the boat, and it looks like a chain left in the water. As we have a look at this Oslo crew, I like the way they look. I like the focus down the crew, and I'm wondering whether they can hang in against that power and aggression that we saw from the Sydney crew. As we hear the umpire really warning the Sydney crew. Sydney trying to get off their station. They're trying to get across, the arms going up from, oh, and the blades are clashing. This one could get very exciting. You don't often see a blade clash. Oh, the umpire's waved the red flag. He's stopping the race. Boris Rankov is stopping the race. Well, let's see. He's shouting the name of Sydney. He's waved the red flag. He's turning around. This is going to be quite interesting. He's shrugging his shoulders. An experienced umpire, Boris Rankov.
Gentlemen, the race is over. Sydney is qualified.
So this is something we don't see very often at Henley. Boris had been warning the Sydney crew. He's waved that red flag, and I think he is saying that Sydney, the race is over, you are disqualified. The Sydney crew are not prepared to stop. They're still carrying on down the course.
And it's just amazing to see how far behind, as they cross the line here, how far behind the umpire's launch is.
So the arms
NSR
go
Oslo
up.
yeah, they're immediately protesting here. I think they ought to have known when they saw the red flag, which you're seeing Boris Rankov raise there to signify disqualification. They just need to be informed in these boats that that's what's happened.
Like to be disqualified.
This looks quite competitive. Both these crews row on the tidal Thames. They all know each other well. Tideway Scullers and Thames are competitive clubs. The umpire's got his work cut out straight away, trying to steer the Thames crew back onto their station, and they're clashing already.
And once again, a race being stopped. Thames well out of their station, I would have thought, but early in the race.
I think he's going to stop them, and I think he's going to restart this one. Because I don't think that had gone far enough that he's going to bother to DQ people. I actually wonder if this is Boris Rankov again.
It looks like Boris. It looks like he's got a lot of work to do with the red flag today. But this time the red flag is saying stop rowing rather than you're disqualified. And he'll take them back to the start because
and I think that's
the clash happened early.
I think that's a good call to make, that the crews went off and they're immediately crashing into each other. It is Boris Rankov again. He's having a very eventful morning. Let's hear if he's going to explain what he's going to do and if we can pick it up.
Right. Okay, bow pair Thames, touch her up.
So I think he's going to do a restart from where they are on the course. This is quite an interesting one.
Yes,
So
it's within
he's
the
now-
rules, but
Yeah.
you don't see it happen all that often.
So he's lined them up. He's trying to get them level and straight, and then he's going to start them. Scullers saying we were ahead. That's not fair. This is rowing. It's an outdoor sport. You deal with what you get.
Yes, it's a difficult circumstance and quite a unique Henley solution, I think. It doesn't happen in international racing.
We'd be back to the start, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Now, if I was in the cruise, you'd be trying to nudge your boat up, try and get 2 feet. That's what they're doing. The bow pairs are both rowing along, trying to nudge their boats ahead. Now Boris is just going to start them again. We've got a race which is going to be about 1,800 metres.
Attention!
Go, just go. Don't wait for the go.
It's very hard to hold them back now. Let's see if they can keep in their stations.
Coming down in front of those stools and then the floating grandstand. And there's a win for Tideway Scullers. Looks like just over clear water ahead of the crew from Thames Rowing Club. I don't expect to see any hands going up, any objections coming.
The Princess Elizabeth is always fast and furious, and this matchup is St Paul's, last year's winner, against Abingdon, who within living memory have won the PE 3 times in succession.
We'll talk more about these crews as they go down. Remember going off the start at Henley, Tom?
I do, particularly when you're in your schoolboy years. This is just the pinnacle of the season, and all your other racing, it's 6 lanes. You can just focus on what you're doing. You don't have to worry about the other crews so much. Here it gets personal. Here it's just one other crew, you're named competitor for the day, and when you get on the start line it gets tense. But I think looking at St Paul's, even though they're a bit close to the booms there, just the pattern, they look quite stable. They got into their rhythm. They look quite controlled. There was a good picture of the stroke there, and he just had a good calm picture, looking down above his cocks, and just a nice early rhythm that they've pushed into, and you can see that rhythm is now carrying them forward up to about half a length.
If you're wondering why Abingdon perhaps are not more competitive against St Paul's, bearing in mind that Abingdon have won this event in 2011, 12 and 13. Well, the top 4 Abingdon boys are here racing in the quadruple sculls event, so this really is a young crew, a development crew from Abingdon, and they've been very competitive early on in this race. I just heard the umpire warning St Paul's, and you can see that their cocks, Fred Birmingham has responded to John Hedger, the umpire.
I think if you're Abingdon, you'd feel a little bit annoyed if your blades are having to pick up dirty water. So St Paul's is certainly on the line. You don't want to be any closer over. And rightly so, they've been warned again, I think, moving back over.
You can see John Hedger there. He's got his Hampton School blazer on, I think, and he's got the white flag out. Be interesting to see whether Abingdon do object at the end of this race. What do you reckon, Tom?
Well, it's worth a try, but in my view, I think the race was probably over by any point of there being an overlap and causing
let's look.
negative
Abingdon
speed.
finished now, and heard in my ear from the producer that Fred Birmingham, who was the Abingdon School cox, was putting his hand up. Vlad Saigu puts his hand back. John Hedger, the umpire, is waiting to see if there are any objections. None forthcoming. There's John Hedger. He might go up and have a word with St Paul's and the cox. He might go and have a word with Vlad Saigu, the St Paul's cox. No, they've paddled off, haven't they? So I think he's saying he's going to talk to them about the race. So it's not done yet. So he wants an objection from the Abingdon crew because he did frequently warn St Paul's, perhaps thought it was unsporting. And he's asked them to raise their hands so he can really explain. I guess probably St Paul's were quite a way ahead, and he's going to go and have a word with the St Paul's crew, but I think he will raise the white flag to indicate the verdict. But John Hedger will go and have a word with the St Paul's cox, Vlad Saigu, probably for not responding to his instructions.
The Prince of Wales is an intermediate event for club quad sculls, and Leander have won it for the last 6 years. Someone eventually is going to knock them off their perch. Today it was Christiana Row Club's chance.
Off they go, nice clean start, looks like a straight line from Leander. The same thing from the Norwegian crew on the right hand side. The Norwegian crew is full of former Norwegian champions, looking very cool and collected as off they go. The steering looks a bit random there.
My God,
what have they done? They're
there?
going to the side.
That is a disaster. I think they've made a correction and they're going to have to do a handbrake.
It's too late.
They are going to hit the booms. A head-on collision! Oh my God, Matt. They did not know what they were heading for.
Whoa, that's painful. He's been whacked in the face there. They really hit the booms.
All right.
Almost went in. There we go. You can see the bowman's left-hand skull there, just
Once
whacked
you get
into
on those booms, there's no way you get off them.
Look at that, how he has to try and lie back to recover, and he hits a second boom. Actually, he's broken his rigger. You can see
his rigger. Look,
you can see the metal pin there that's just come right apart, sheared off.
They just don't know the booms are there.
On either of the opening 2 days of the regatta, it's a very special race that goes right to the wire. Here's one in the Forley. It's Abingdon versus Maidenhead.
This is another quads race. Whoa! You could see really that Maidenhead Rowing Club, the stroke of Maidenhead Rowing Club really went off Victor Kleshev. His blades washed out. There on the right-hand side of your picture, very fast crew racing the boys from Abingdon. Powerful crew with pink blades on the left, and the Maidenhead crew coming across again, Matt.
Yeah, very difficult. I think it must be the swirling wind worrying them there. Hugely aggressive start there. They really ripped through the first few strokes, and they're determined to get ahead. Looks like they're a seat or two up already, and you can see a lower rate of striking. Quite a contrast really with that start phase there, and you can see that we've just got a continued fairly close race here. Determined people still at the lower part of our screen as we're looking there at the Maidenhead crew. Who are attacking again, and attacking again against Abingdon. The Maidenhead crew on the right of our picture now in the green. They've been selected for this event by the steward, so this is their first row of the regatta, and a very powerful row. Really good to see such close competition. Looking across there, you can see 2 or 3 of the athletes. Again, the strokeman looks across to see the opposition. Are they able to push through? They are absolutely looking neck and neck at the moment. Very exciting race. What you get at this point in the race is the crowds notice something very close is happening, and the roar starts to build, and that tends to lift you as a rower as you approach the finish line. It can actually encourage the crew that's behind to feel we're getting close as they push up the rate and really try to drive through. And look, it looks like Maidenhead are pushing through Abingdon. No real response there in rating from Abingdon. Now they've noticed.
Now they're going. Yeah, and Abingdon have got probably a 2 stone a man weight advantage. We're focusing on Abingdon. We're on the finish camera. It looks like Abingdon might just have done it, but here's Maidenhead at the finish. It is Abingdon. Oh my goodness, I think power and strength did it in the end, but what an amazing race. My goodness me, Tom Digby there in the stern of that Maidenhead boat. He kept his cool. I didn't think he'd done enough with the rating. The Maidenhead boys, they were underpowered, the smaller men, but they made up for that with aggression. It was just an amazing contest.
That's it for day 2. We'll be back for a full day of action on Friday. Henley Friday is always a huge day. We're hoping for sunshine and a lot more besides. We'll be here live on YouTube throughout the day, so we'll see you then.